new chocolate-covered Jell-O brand pudding pops. Creamy inside.
Crunchy outside.
Mom, are they ready yet?
I'm still working on it.
Remember these? 10 forgotten foods from the 1980s. Remember rocking out to neon leggings and big hair while crimping your bangs with a hot iron? The 1980s were a decade of outrageous fashion, catchy pop tunes, and, well, some truly unique foods. While some of the classics like Pop-Tarts and gummy bears are still going strong, there are plenty of others that have disappeared completely. In this video, we'll be diving into 10 forgotten foods from the 1980s. Whether you grew up in the 1980s and want to take a trip down memory lane, or you're simply curious about the culinary trends of the past, this video is sure to satisfy your cravings for nostalgia. Let's dive in. Number 10, chicken franchise. Chicken franchise, a dish that brought a touch of elegance to American dinner tables in the 1980s. Chicken franchise, also known as chicken francese, is a classic Italian-American dish. It's made by dredging chicken cutlets in flour, then dipping them in a beaten egg mixture before pan-frying them to a golden brown. What sets this dish apart is its delectable lemon butter sauce. After the chicken is covered, the pan is deglazed with white wine and lemon juice. Butter is added to create a rich, tangy sauce that perfectly complements the crispy chicken. Chicken francese was a popular choice for home cooks and featured prominently in many family dinners during the 1980s. Its simple yet sophisticated flavor profile made it a favorite for both weeknight meals and special occasions. While it may not be as commonly found on menus today, for those who remember it, is a timeless classic. Number 9, Sloppy Joes. Sloppy Joe is a classic American comfort food of the 1980s. Made with ground beef, onions, tomato sauce, and seasonings, Sloppy Joes are known for their messy yet delicious nature. The name Sloppy Joe is likely originated from the messy appearance of the sandwiches when the filling spills out from the bun. In the 1980s, Sloppy Joes were commonly served in school cafeterias and households across the United States. However, as dietary preferences evolved and healthier options became more popular, Sloppy Joes gradually fell out of favor. While still enjoyed by many, Sloppy Joes are not as popular as they once were in the 1980s. Number 8, Chicken Kiev. This dish was all the rage in the 1980s. Chicken Kiev is a classic dish consisting of a breaded and pan-fried chicken breast stuffed with seasoned butter. The origins of Chicken Kiev are somewhat debated, with some claiming it hails from Ukraine, while others argue it has Russian roots. Regardless of its origin, it gained immense popularity in the United States during the 1980s. This dish was beloved for its crispy exterior and the flavorful butter that oozed out when you cut into it. It was often served with mashed potatoes and vegetables, making for a hearty and satisfying meal. However, despite its popularity in the past, Chicken Kiev seems to have fallen out of favor in recent years. Perhaps it's due to changing culinary trends or the rise of other chicken dishes, but let's not forget the deliciousness of Chicken Kiev. Who knows? Maybe it's time for a comeback. Number 7, Plum Torte. The plum torte was a simple cake that took center stage at potlucks and bake sales throughout the decade. Made with juicy plums nestled in a buttery batter, it was a delicious way to showcase seasoned fruit. The beauty of plum torte lies in its ease. Unlike fancy layer cakes, it required minimal ingredients and baking skills. Plus, it offered a perfect balance of sweet and tart thanks to the plums. While some might consider it a grandma-style dessert, there's no denying the satisfying comfort a slice of plum torte brings. This forgotten gem from the 1980s deserves a place on the dessert table once again. Have you ever tried plum torte? What's your favorite childhood dessert memory? Let us know in the comments below. Number 6, Hot Buttered Cheerios. Hot Buttered Cheerios were a surprisingly popular snack during the 80s. This treat involved taking plain Cheerios cereal and coating them in melted butter. While it might sound strange now, Back then, it was a budget-friendly way to make a simple breakfast or after-school treat. Making hot buttered Cheerios was incredibly easy. All you needed was a pan, some butter, and your favorite box of Cheerios. The butter would be melted in the pan, and then the Cheerios would be tossed in, getting coated in butter. The cereal would then be cooked for a few minutes until it started to become a bit crispy. The beauty of hot buttered Cheerios was its versatility. You could enjoy them plain, or you could sprinkle a little bit of sugar or even some cinnamon sugar. While not as popular today, hot buttered Cheerios still hold a special place in the memories of those who grew up in that era. They proved that creativity in the kitchen isn't about fancy ingredients, but about making something ordinary into something fun and delicious. Number 5, dirt cake. This wasn't exactly a store-bought treat, but it was a staple at birthday parties and potlucks throughout the 1980s. Dirt cake is a no-bake dessert. The base of the dirt is typically crushed Oreos, replicating the rich, dark color of the soil. A creamy layer of instant chocolate pudding gets poured on top, creating a smooth, pudding-like earth. Don't be fooled by the name, though. The pudding is usually vanilla or French vanilla to add a touch of sweetness. But the real magic of dirt cake comes with the finishing touches. Gummy worms, those wiggly, brightly colored candies, are strategically placed on the pudding layer, looking like they're burrowing through the dirt. Some bakers even get creative, hiding gummy worms within the pudding for a surprise with every bite. Despite its popularity in the 1980s, dirt cake gradually faded away from the culinary scene as food trends evolved and healthier options gained traction. This dessert lost its place on menus and in recipe books. Number 4, impossible pie. Believe it or not, this delightful dessert lives up to its name. Unlike traditional pies with a separate crust and filling, the impossible pie creates its layers during baking. So, how does this happen? The secret lies in the simple ingredients list. Eggs, milk, sugar, flour, and coconut are blended until smooth. When poured into a pie dish and baked, the magic happens. The flour sinks to the bottom, transforming into a tender, flaky crust. The coconut rises to the top, toasting into a golden brown, slightly crunchy topping. In the center, the remaining ingredients set into a creamy, dreamy custard filling. The recipe was a massive hit in the 80s, especially for busy households. With minimum prep time and a handful of pantry staples, anyone could whip up a delicious dessert. Plus, the versatility of the impossible pie allowed for customization. Craving a richer flavor, add a touch of vanilla extract or melted butter. Feeling tropical? Throw in some pineapple chunks or mango slices. Despite its ease and adaptability, the impossible pie seems to have faded from the dessert spotlight in recent years. But if you're looking for a hassle-free dessert to impress your guests, give the impossible pie a try. You might just be surprised by how easy and impossible it can be at the same time. Number 3, blackened redfish. This dish was a real showstopper in the 1980s, exploding onto the culinary scene with its bold flavors and dramatic presentation. Blackened redfish is all about the spices, a special blackening seasoning, typically made with paprika, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and various herbs, is liberally coated onto the redfish fillet. The fish is then sealed in a scorching hot cast iron skillet with clarified butter, creating a char on the outside. The char intensifies the flavors of the spice rub, infusing the fish with a deep, smoky heat. Blackened redfish is known for its kick, but the quality redfish itself provides a mild, slightly sweet counterpoint. It's a perfect balance of fire and finesse. The presentation of blackened redfish is just as impressive as the taste. The blackened char on the fish is often served with accompaniments like lemon wedges, remoulade sauce, or rice. Blackened redfish may not be on every menu these days, but it's a dish worth revisiting. It's proof of the 80s love of bold flavors and dramatic cooking techniques. Number 2, vol au vent. Now this one might sound fancy, but it's a delicious little flavor cup made of puff pastry. The name itself is French and translates to flight of the wind, which makes sense when you see these things. It's a golden brown, flaky pastry shell, kind of like a mini pie crust. But instead of being filled with sweet stuff, vol au vent loads up with foods like creamy chicken, mushrooms, seafood, or even vegetables. The possibilities are endless. Back in the 1980s, vol au vent was a popular appetizer at fancy dinner parties or upscale restaurants. It was a way to impress guests with a bit of French style. These days, you can sometimes find frozen vol au vent shells at the grocery store. Just whip up your favorite filling, heat them, and voila! Instant food. It might be a blast from the 80s, but its deliciousness is timeless. Number 1, salmon rillettes. Salmon rillettes, a forgotten gem of the 1980s culinary scene, was a creamy spread made from poached or smoked salmon mixed with butter, herbs, and sometimes spices. Originating in France, rillettes were traditionally made with pork, but in the 1980s, salmon was the main ingredient. In the 1980s, salmon rillettes gained popularity for their taste and versatility. It became a main appetizer at dinner parties and high-class restaurants across America. The dish's smooth texture and rich flavor made it a favorite among seafood lovers. However, despite its initial success, salmon rillettes gradually faded away from the culinary spotlight. Several factors contributed to its decline. Firstly, changing food trends in the late 1980s shifted towards lighter, healthier options. Additionally, the rise of new seafood appetizers and fusion cuisines diverted attention away from traditional dishes like salmon rillettes. Today, it's rare to find salmon rillettes on restaurant menus or in home kitchens, marking the end of an era for this once beloved dish. That's a wrap up for today's video. We hope you enjoyed this look at some forgotten food trends from the 1980s. From snacks to fun frozen treats, these items hold a special place in the hearts of many. Let us know in the comments below, what forgotten 80s food do you miss the most? Maybe we can feature it in a future video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more blasts from the past. Thanks for watching. Until next time.